The story of the greedy dog for children. There once lived a dog in a village. He was always hungry and looking for food. The dog was also very greedy and was never satisfied with what he had or got. The dog kept wandering everywhere, searching for food, and could never get content. Each time the dog got food, he would promise himself that he would be happy with what he had and not crave it anymore. But within a few seconds, he would forget the promise and try to look for more food or grab it from another animal. One day he was wandering and searching for food as usual. A river flowed by his house and a bridge was there to help everyone cross to the other side. He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side. He looked all around but could not find anything. Suddenly, he spotted a bone lying outside a small hut. The bone was big and juicy, and he ran to grab it, and held it tightly in his mouth. He thought he would cross the bridge and eat it at leisure at home. He was afraid that if any of his friends or other animals spotted the bone, they would also want a share of it. He wanted to devour it all by himself. As he was crossing the bridge to go home, he saw another dog holding a bone in its mouth. He noticed that the bone looked as juicy and big as the one he had. He began to think about how lucky he would be if he got that bone to eat too. He started thinking of ways to get the other bone from the dog in the river. He barked at the dog, assuming the other dog would immediately throw the bone. The moment he barked, the bone in his mouth fell into the water. He also fell into the water in surprise, and floated away, till he was able to get onto dry land. He then realized that the dog he saw was not another dog but his own reflection. He regretted his action and realized it was a big mistake to be greedy. He had to return home without a bone and nothing to eat. He realized he had paid a heavy price for his greed. He learned his lesson and promised himself he would no longer be greedy. The Wind in the Willows story for children. Once upon a time, there was a friendly mole who lived underground. One day, he decided to leave his home and explore the world above. As he wandered through the sunny fields, he came across a beautiful riverbank where he met Ratty, a cheerful water rat. "Come along," said Ratty. "Let's go boating. It's a lovely day for an adventure on the river." Mole was excited at the idea. They hopped into Ratty's little boat and set off down the river, enjoying the gentle breeze and warm sunshine. They laughed and played as they floated along, discovering all sorts of wonderful sights along the way. As they spent time together, Mole learned about friendship and adventure from Ratty. They shared stories and snacks, creating happy memories that would last forever. But soon, their peaceful days were interrupted by their friend Toad. Toad was known for his extravagant lifestyle and wild ideas. He had recently become obsessed with driving cars. "You must try it," he insisted one day. "It's simply thrilling." Despite their worries, Mole and Ratty agreed to join Toad on his latest adventure. They found themselves in a grand car that Toad had acquired. But Toad's reckless driving quickly led to trouble. After crashing into a hedge, Toad felt embarrassed but was determined to try again. Realizing that Toad needed help to control his wild impulses, Mole and Ratty sought out Badger, their wise friend who lived deep in the woods. Badger welcomed them warmly and listened patiently as they explained Toad's troubles. "Sometimes," Badger said thoughtfully, "we all need guidance to find our way back to what truly matters." With Badger's help, they came up with a plan to show Toad how important friendship was compared to wild pursuits. Together, they encouraged Toad to enjoy simpler joys, like spending time with friends by the river instead of chasing after fleeting fancies. As time passed, Toad learned valuable lessons about friendship and responsibility. He realized that true happiness came not from possessions or wild adventures but from being surrounded by those who cared for him. The three friends, Mole, Ratty, and Badger, continued to enjoy their days together by the riverbank while helping Toad find balance in his life. They shared laughter, stories, and countless adventures that strengthened their bonds. The Three Feathers story for children. Once upon a time, there was a king who had 3 sons. As he grew older, he decided it was time to find out which of his sons was the wisest and most worthy to inherit his kingdom. To test them, he called them together and said, "I will give each of you a feather. You must use it wisely." He handed each son a feather. One was white, one was black, and one was grey. Go out into the world, he instructed, and return with something that will impress me. The three brothers set off on their journeys, each determined to prove himself to their father. The eldest brother took his white feather and went to a distant land where he sought out riches and treasures. He returned with gold and jewels, confident that his wealth would impress the king. The middle brother took his black feather and sought power. He returned with an army of soldiers, believing that strength would win his father's favor. The youngest brother took his grey feather and wandered through the countryside. He met a wise old man who taught him about kindness and humility. Instead of seeking wealth or power, he learned the value of helping others. When the brothers returned to the palace, they presented their findings to their father. The eldest brother displayed his gold and jewels proudly. "Father, look at my riches," he declared. The middle brother boasted about his army. "I have brought you strength," he proclaimed. Finally, the youngest brother stepped forward with nothing but a simple smile. "I have learned about kindness," he said softly. "I helped those in need along my journey." The king listened carefully to each son's words. He looked at the treasures and soldiers but felt something was missing. Then he asked his youngest son, "What did you learn from your journey?" "I learned that true worth comes from how we treat others," replied the youngest brother. Moved by his son's wisdom, the king declared, "You are my true heir. It is not wealth or power that makes one worthy, it is kindness and understanding." From that day forward, the youngest brother ruled wisely, bringing peace and prosperity to the kingdom through compassion and humility.